And joining me on the line now is J.K. Rowling. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much. From the gloom comes something bright and lovely. The Ickabog. It's out now, published by Little Brown Books for young readers. This is the thing that always puzzles me, because obviously I'm not a parent. What ages?
Do you know what, Graham? I never know. I honestly don't know. I let the publisher tell me, because children vary so much. You know, you have very young kids who can cope with some quite dark stories. So we'll see.
Because this is it's more of a book than I was expecting it to be. You know what I mean? There's a lot of words.
There are a lot of words. Personally, I think it's a read aloud book. The chapters are quite short. I think the characters are quite vivid. But I think a younger child could probably cope, maybe with a bit of help. Yeah, it's a proper book, all right. It really is.
And with your own children, when you were reading it to them, or writing it and then reading it to them, over what course of time was that?
I read them what I had, because the book remained unfinished until this year. And then I sort of told them the end of the story without writing it. I suppose I read it to them over about 3 weeks, something like that.
Oh, is that all? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was over kind of years you told
Oh,
it to
no, goodness, no. God, imagine. That would be very boring for them. It's chapter 11 now, children. You remember what we said 6 months ago?
Yeah, I've got a job now, Mom. So it's called, in the Little Bird, an original fairy tale. Now, what's the difference between a kind of a fantasy tale and a fairy tale?
I think that's a really good question, because there's obviously a bit of an overlap. But for me, this is very personal. I think a fairy tale takes place out of time, if you know what I mean. It's a timeless story, probably takes place in an entirely imaginary kingdom. And I think we pleasurably leave reality. I think we all understand once upon a time, you're going to a different space. And the themes, I think, are often very timeless. And I certainly feel that about the Ickabog.
And so this is kind of a gift from lockdown, really, isn't it?
Completely, because I didn't think I would ever publish the book. I did originally. I mean, I originally meant to publish it. And I always loved the story, but I took 5 years off between the end of Potter and my next book. And during those 5 years, I did a lot of Ickabog. I wrote the first of the Strike Detective series, and I wrote The Casual Vacancy. And I decided I wasn't going to put out a book for children next, partly because I knew whatever happened with the next book would be, well, it's not Potter. And I just thought, that was so inevitable.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'm going to put out The Casual Vacancy, which very definitely isn't Potter. And that will be the one that takes the hit. And then as time went by, the Ickabog sort of turned into a family in-joke, in that we used to, when the kids had grown up a bit, they would still ask me about it. And are you going to finish it? And we talk about the different cities in cornucopia and so on. And I think I just started to think, no, that was just for my family. I'm not going to publish it now. And then you're absolutely right. On lockdown, I just knew how difficult it was going to be for families with young children, and particularly, people who didn't have gardens, people who were really, it's very intense looking after small children. And if they can't see their friends and they can't have play dates, I was just thinking this is going to be so tough for people. And that's when I thought I could do something. That's really where the idea for the drawing competition came from, because obviously I wanted to give them the story for free, but I thought that would be an amazing activity. So you could really get a couple of hours out of this every day. And that's how it all began.
Yeah, so finally the internet was useful for something. You found all these beautiful illustrations.
Graham, honestly, we ended up having 60,000 entries from all over the world.
Wow.
And it was simply mind-blowing. Not just the number of illustrations we had, but the quality. Even from very small children, they'd really pulled out all the stops. I found it so inspiring. I was in tears, actually, at one point, just looking at all these amazing pictures. It was wonderful. It was a real gift to me. I didn't think it gave me something under lockdown that I could never have had otherwise.
Oh, isn't that's so interesting? Yeah. This edition that I have, this has England, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and India. So are there other editions around the world?
Yeah, we translated the book, and I think we've got more editions coming. But there's another one. There's an American version as well. We had a huge number of entries from America. So yeah, there's currently another English language version that has different illustrations in it.
And tell me this: it's all raising money for. Is it the Volant charitable?
It's Volant. It's Volant. That's my mum's maiden name. She was part French. Volant.
Oh.
So my charitable.
Hence all your shoe pastry and your.
I wish. Oh my goodness, I've never made shoe pastry in my life. Yeah, so I have this charitable trust which has been going for years, which really has an emphasis on social deprivation. But with the monies from Ickabog, we're going to be donating in the first instance to medical charities and frontline charities dealing with COVID. And if we're lucky enough to have further royalties after that, we'll be looking at vulnerable groups who have been particularly affected by the pandemic. Yeah, so we'll be making some fairly sizable donations to medical charities particularly.
And tell me this, your head is essentially a library. There's a lot of books in there. Every time I talk to you, there's like, oh yes, and strike 20, I have the plot outlined for that. And so where are you with Ickabog? Are you going to return to cornucopia?
I'm not, no. I always saw that as a, standalone, complete story. And I'm honestly thrilled I finished it because it's been so satisfying and it's been such a dreadful year for everyone. It gave me a lot of structure in my day. It gave me a sense of purpose because my days are quite structured. I write most days. But it did give me a particular sense of purpose, thinking this can help, this can do something. Because I'm married to a doctor, which makes you feel very inadequate when there's a pandemic going on. It's watching people in my family who are key workers go out there and face it all was simultaneously, I was so proud of everyone, but I was feeling anxious for them.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was a help to me too.
And talking of Cormoran Strike, where are you now? How many are in the...
I'm writing book 6. And we will be, so book 5, Troubled Blood, was published a couple of months ago. And well, obviously lockdown permitting, at some point that will be made for TV, just as Lethal White was. But I have, with Strike, because of the TV and the books, I have to stop and think, what do people know? Because I'm always so much further ahead of everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As you would hope I would be.
Yeah. When did he have all those kids?
Yeah, well, exactly.
And what's happening with The Cursed Child all around the world? I mean, what do you know? What do you think's going to happen? In your head, what's the timeline?
I don't think anyone involved in the theatre business right now knows for certain what will happen. We're hoping certainly to come back. We've continued to keep things ticking over so that we can come back. I'm hopeful, but I don't think anyone can truly say when we'll be able to go to theatres again. But, fingers crossed. I mean, we were very lucky with Cursed Child. It was such a success and I loved it so much. I'm hoping we can come back. I think we probably can. I think theatres have been hit, as industries go, that's been one of the worst hit by the pandemic, without a doubt.
Yeah, but Broadway, it has to come back. I mean, the theatre is built around it. The carpet is Harry Potter carpet.
It was a really interesting experience in Broadway because we took over a theatre that had been in trouble really, and we completely remodeled it around the play. So
so if it closes, fans can get carpet squares.
Exactly. You can all go and Instagram the theatre before you put it out.
You'll be waiting for the skip outside. That'll do the stairs.
Oh, let's hope not.
No, that will not happen. Okay, listen, we're going to take a pause and then we'll come back and do some true or false. I'll explain as we get there. But right now, let's hear your song choice. What have you chosen and is there a why?
There is a why. It's Rita Ora, I Will Never Let You Down. And in the 5th Strike book, Robin sings this. This slightly amuses me because it's so typical of them as a pair. She sings it under her breath at a very happy moment. And the lyrics are so appropriate to Strike and Robin. And yet, Strike wasn't listening at the time, which I think says everything. So it's sort of their song to me without either of them being aware of it yet.
I Will Never Let You Down, Rita Ora, the choice of my guest, J.K. Rowling. Okay, J.K. Rowling, we are now going to play a game of true or false.
Yes.
I don't know the answers, but typically they're normally true. And there are no prizes. I know. So, question 1. True or false, you have a tattoo on your right wrist?
That is true. Yeah.
Do we know what it is?
I know what it is. It says Solve et Coagula, and it's in my own handwriting. I always wanted this, and then I thought, no, you're ridiculously too old to go and get a tattoo. And then last year, my sister said to me, "What am I going to get you for Christmas? You're so hard to buy for," which I think is a fair point. And I said to her, "Get me a tattoo." So we both went to a tattoo parlor, and she paid for me to have my tattoo. So yeah, that's how that happened. And it means dissolve and coagulate. And it's really a link between my 1st and 13th books, because it was the maxim of the alchemists. And the phrase actually appears in Troubled Blood. And it has a couple of other more personal associations to me. So
well, I won't delve into your coagulation.
You don't want that. No one needs that.
Let's just leave that personal. That's fine. Yeah. Now, true or false? Your collection of Jane Austen first editions is missing just one title.
Oh my word. No, it's missing more than one. It's missing 2. Mm. Yeah, it's missing 2. Yes.
Which one is you looking for, just in case there's a bookshop out there kind of going?
You could nip out to Waterson's for me now.
Yeah. No, someone will go, that's solved the lockdown crisis. We've sold 2 first edition Jane Austens.
I'm missing Northanger Abbey and Emma. So yeah. Do you know what? I never really think about it as a collection. So I'm not really on the hunt. I suppose if they came up, I would buy them. Although, yes.
People will get in touch.
Yeah, no, they will. I know that.
Yeah, I sort of. You've now got them. Essentially, if you want them, if you want them, you've got a checkbook and a pen. They're there. True or false? You haven't yet ridden Escape from Gringotts at Universal Orlando because you get motion sickness.
It's true that I haven't yet ridden it. And actually, I suppose, I get car sick. It's very embarrassing at my age to get car sick, but I do get car sick. But that's not the reason I haven't ridden it. I haven't actually been back to Florida since they opened the theme park, so I haven't seen the big expansion. And I would go on it. I don't love roller coasters, but it's a different sort of experience. So yeah, no, I definitely would go on it if I.
Isn't that funny? When I was a kid, car sickness was a real thing. You know the way people used to tie things on the back of their car, like bits of rubber and chains, to try to somehow that was going to solve car sickness.
Yeah, I know. It's like being a witch doctor. I don't know how that was supposed to work. But no, I used to be really car sick as a kid, and I still have tendencies that way.
Does it matter where you sit in the car?
I much prefer sitting in the front seat.
Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, here's a good one. True or false? Russell T Davies invited you to write an episode of Doctor Who.
That is true. And you know what? I was really... I get asked to do these very cool things, and I'm always so up to my eyes in my own work. I can never say yes, but I was really tempted. But yeah, it didn't happen, unfortunately. But there you are.
Oh, true or false? Your favourite Kate Bush song is Wow?
No, I do love Kate Bush, but my favourite song is Cloudbusting.
Okay. Is that because of the story contained within?
Well, it's the whole thing, but I do love a story, predictably.
Yes.
She's a great lyricist. She's very good. Yeah, I love Kate Bush.
She is amazing. She's fantastic. True or false? Your first story was about a hamster called Harry.
No. No, my first ever completed story was about a rabbit called Rabbit. showing that flair for names, that I'm famous for. No, it's about a rabbit called Rabbit. I can't remember. I wish I still had it, but it got thrown out of my parents' home many moons ago. Yeah, he didn't have very exciting adventures, but I do remember Rabbit quite vividly.
True or false? True or false? You made a cameo appearance in the most recent Cormoran Strike TV series, Lethal White.
No, I never do cameo appearances. No. But I was there for some of the filming, so I'm just off camera. But no, I never make cameo appearances. That would be a terrible thing. I'd ruin the scene. I'm very self-conscious. It wouldn't work.
Weren't you tempted in the last Harry Potter when you knew, oh, this is all it? Weren't you tempted just to be in a big dinner scene or something, or a crowd?
I think the only way I'd do it is if I had a lot of prosthetics on, like I could be a goblin or something.
And who could be bothered doing that?
Yeah, exactly. 9 hours in the chair just to sit on another chair. No, yeah. I don't want to do that.
Oh, I love being an actor, me. Terrible. True or false, you always play as Yoshi on Mario Kart.
I do. That's completely true. I play as Pink Yoshi or Yoshi. I don't really know how you say his name.
When do you find time to play Mario Kart?
Well, when my son got Mario Kart, he used to ask us to play with him, Neil and I. And nowadays, we're begging the kids to play with us. And they're just so bored by us and by the game. Oh, God, let us go and do our homework, please. So, yeah, when do I play? I mean, I do work. I normally write for a good 8 hours a day, and then you just want something ridiculously easy to do. So I play Mario Kart and watch TV and, I don't know, bake cakes often.
Oh, and talking of prosthetics, true or false, you love stage musicals and often wear a disguise so you can go and see them.
What? The only time I've ever worn a disguise, ever, was when I bought my wedding dress. Because we got married very quietly. I know, we married very quietly, and we'd been hassled a bit by the press and just wanted to be able to have a very private wedding ceremony. So I did wear a disguise and went to. I didn't buy a real wedding dress. It was an evening dress, but I was so paranoid, and also I put on a disguise to buy it. Yeah.
What was the disguise?
I don't want to say. I really, really, really don't want to say. It's so embarrassing.
Did the wedding dress shop think you had a facial hair problem?
No, that didn't happen. But yeah, I did wear a slight disguise. I mean, it wasn't a prosthetic job.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We're out of time, J.K. Rowling, because you must write another book. So there's a book out there. Quick, finish it. The Ickabog. The Ickabog has escaped from the attic and is out now, published by Little Brown Books for young readers. J.K. Rowling, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you along the way. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Graham Norton.